Hi everyone, this is Kelly and I am here to take a look at the Soul Cards Tarot deck. This is a deck by Christine Freedom and it has Eva Eklund, but the artist I know, or the illustrator, is Karina Nika, and I know that because I was just looking at her Instagram account, so I know that she's the artist there. There isn't any kind of booklet or anything like that that comes with this, and there is a black version and this pink version. The black version looks really stunning. Obviously, you can go look on the website, which is soulcardstarot.com, to see both of them. My friend Patrick was selling both of these for briefly. I think they went really fast. He does not have any to sell, but he sent me the pink copy, and I have to say the box, I really love the box, the pink coloration, especially with this. Today is the spring equinox, so that's like kind of perfect timing. Not that you can't have pink at all different times of the year. I will say that the box has an amazing, I will almost say, I'm feeling my moon cards because that was probably my most luxurious box. But in terms of silky mattness, this is probably the most silky mattness feeling of any box that I have. So that's definitely the case. There's not a guidebook. So this says inside, let me zoom in a little bit already here. This says and you do have to of course I've got lights on so that I can film this, which makes it a little bit harder for me. To learn more about the cards and their meanings and how to lay them, please visit soulcardstarot.com. There's not a lot there in terms of card meanings or anything like that yet. From what I understand, their intention is to build up the website to have a lot more about the meanings and the symbolism. Right now it's not really there, but there isn't a guidebook that comes in the deck at all. Beautiful illustration there. Here's the cards, which we'll look at in a second. I mean, look at those backs. Like, I don't have any deck like that, but we'll come back to that. The inside is but beautifully the same pink silky matte with a gold sort of border on the bottom. Again, feeling wise, it's just amazing silky matte paper material that they've used to cover this. It's really gorgeous. Kind of one of a kind, I'll be honest. So then the deck itself obviously is 78 cards. Not obviously, sometimes there's extra cards. It is that amazing matte gold edging like you would see on the Star Child or the Moon Child Tarot, or those types of decks that have that amazing matte gold on the edges is what you have there. And then the backs, again, the paper or the cardstock that they use, it's just incredible silky matte. I was thinking if it was like a residue, but it's not. It's just amazing silky matte. This is amazing cardstock. I'm not gonna cut this one way or another. I mean, this is really amazing cardstock. I am a huge fan of matte silky cardstocks. Huge fan, and everybody's different. Everybody likes different kinds of cardstock. We'll see how it shuffles, but it is the most amazing matte silk that I've ever felt, and I have quite a few card decks, as you'll all be glad to point out. Now, I don't know that this is going to show up. To be honest, Patrick sent me quite a few different pictures trying to get it to show up, and it just didn't show up in photographs. The cardstock is actually a pale pink with gold overlay. Now, in the pictures that he kept sending, it just to me looked like an off-white. And while that is the case, as soon as I opened it, I was like, oh, okay, that is actually pink. And I couldn't see that at all at the images. So it is a pale shell pink with gold, embossed gold overlay. And I think you can see how it's that shiny gold overlay there. But until I get back to where I can see it in the computer, I don't know if the pink cardstock is showing up at all. Let me put it against something really white. Here's a piece of paper. There. Okay, so that I think you can see. That helps, I think. So yeah, on a piece of paper, so you can see it's this beautiful shell pink color in person that is really stunning. In person, I couldn't see it when Patrick kept sending me a picture. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that's really looking very pink to me. So there we have that. Let's just dive into it, because they're really, there's not a guidebook. Everything about the quality is luxurious feeling and amazing. So there's not much else to say besides it's amazing. So here we have, now I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Actually, I know this annoys people. But I'm going to have to pick these up a little bit as we go, simply because I can't see them because of the way I have my lights. If I don't pick them up, I can't even see what they look like very well. So that actually makes it a little bit hard for me in terms of being able to use one for reading, although I think that it's picking up really well in the actual video, because if I look up to the screen, which I just can't do continually, or to see details, I can see it pretty well. So I do apologize if this is annoying. It's just the best that we can do here so that I can actually see what I'm talking about. So what I really like about this is a very pip deck, right? Very much a pip deck. These are sort of illustrative, graphical representations of the cards, and the minors are, the whole thing is a pip deck basically. However, there are things that you can see, in my opinion. Like, I really liked when I looked at the Magician here and the Fool, because you have some similar layers like this. For me, this looks like in the Fool, and again, this is just me, there's nothing here to say what this is, but for me, I see a sextant here that you would use to navigate the stars, and it looks like we have the sun and we have planets over here, right? And so we have this person who is out going on a journey and needing to navigate their way forward, use what they have. They have the stars in the sky, use that ability to be able to find their way forward, that we have with the Fool. In the Magician, that sextant feels far more finished and complete. It feels far more solid. We also have the 4 elements where we have, I love this actually, this looks like a candlestick with a flame for fire. We have the cup then that goes over and makes this into a cup. We have this like arrow shape here for the swords, and then we have the pentacle here for the earth. So we have the 4 elements here. We have the sense of power and manifestation about this, and there is a solid state to this that's different than the Fool. And I love the kind of third eye opening there as well. We also have the lemon scott up above. So I just think, to be honest, I think this shows a really great progression between Fool and Magician energy. So I quite love those. I also love this High Priestess. Again, there's not much here. These are symbols, but we do have the symbols of the moon here. We've got lots of moon energy going on, a lot of moon energy through all of the different symbologies. And it just, to me, does speak of the High Priestess. It's not just random scribblings. Like, I see that and I say, okay, yeah, I can see the High Priestess there. Same thing with the Empress. We have this beautiful crown here. I like the dripping hangings that we have here. We do have Venus. Actually, this circle with this going on underneath it is like an extended Venus symbol, which we always have with the idea of the Empress. I just think it's really a beautiful, we have almost like a plant growth here that's growing. We still see the connection to the moon with feminine energy. So this does speak to the Empress to me. And the Emperor, we have more of that shield that's going on, a little bit more squareness. We have the kind of crystal feel to things that feels very much like those solid states and those geometric shapes that we often will see in a more modern shapes that we might get in an emperor. So I actually really like these, and I like the Venus and the shield that we can see there. Again, Hierophant. I feel like you can see the Hierophant here. You can see almost like the headpiece of the Pope or the Hierophant. We have even a cross feeling going on. We have here what actually looks like the staff of the Hierophant. And so I do feel like even though these are just symbols, that I can see the Hierophant. Same thing with the Lovers. I feel like you can see two swans here. We have the connective energy that's going on. We have this upper thing. So for me, I can see, you know, that sort of higher middle and sort of subconscious going on, which I like to kind of see through things. But just looking at it in a quick glance, the first thing I saw were swans, two swans sort of interlocked. And so it feels like and it also has the shape of a heart. So you can feel the Lover's card there. Love this Chariot. I love that we have sort of this wheel aspect of things that are going to be used to navigate. I love the wings here that kind of speak to things in motion. Again, very symbolic, but it says Chariot. This one was really interesting because you can actually see the face of a lion. So I don't know if everybody can, but you know, you can see the mane going up here. You can see here as the face, and there's the nose, and there's the mouth, and there's the eyes. So as soon as I saw this, you can see the lion that's there in the Strength card. Of course, this one's the easy one. It's a stunning Hermit card with a lantern. I mean, they're really beautiful. Love this Wheel of Fortune. Again, I don't often like Wheel of Fortune cards all the time. Or I don't say I don't like them, but they're not my favorite. But this one is clean and simple, and it's the Wheel of Fortune. It works as a Wheel of Fortune. Love this as Justice. I'm trying to, you know, not belabor the point, but we've got the scales there that we can very clearly equate with the Justice card. The Hanged Man, we do have that sense of something that is hanging. And you know how we often have that halo around the head of traditional hanged men? You can see that there. Love this Death card. You've got the scythes here. You've got the skull that's going on here. You've got the crown in terms of Death on his horse. Sometimes is wearing the crown with a scythe here. Like this to me is very recognizable as Death. Love this Temperance card. It looks very alchemical. We've got the movement of things going this way and things going that way. It does feel to me very alchemical. That's kind of what I see with this, is these two potion bottles being mixed together, which I love. The Devil is interesting. We have almost two eyes that are here. We have the pentagram that's upside down, and we have the third eye, which should be seeing and knowing things well, that are inverted. So we have given over our power to something or somebody else, and we can no longer see the situation clearly. So that's interesting there. But I do like the idea of a face being here as well, because I do think that very often we need to look in the mirror when we get the Devil card and see what we're seeing. As abdicating our own responsibility, we need to look back into the mirror. Love the Tower. It's again you get the feeling of a tower structure, but it definitely doesn't look stable. It looks like there is a place that could become unstabilized with the Tower. Star card, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. We got stars all over the place. Follow the light of the star. Moon is stunning. Probably, you know, actually this Sun and Moon and Stars are probably one of my favorites. Like, look at those. Like, those are just gorgeous. That's a gorgeous Sun, Moon, and Stars. I'm a big fan. And again, judgment, you've got the horns here that you're going to blow, calling forward for judgment. I think it's beautiful and recognizable even in its clean simplicity. So it is a pip deck, but I feel like you can see the cards in them. And I love the world. I love how you have the astrological signs in the four corners. You usually have those four creatures relating to the astrological signs in the corners, so they just have the symbols there. We just have that sense of the moon going around and everything is in its place and the universe is working in its order. And I think that's amazing. So the one thing I was wondering about with this deck was with the majors. But while these are very minimalist and very much pip-like, each of the cards, I believe you can see the major arcana in that card in a beautiful way. Really impressed. So I'm gonna kind of go a little, well, I feel like I'm going pretty good. This will be the fastest thing I ever do, I think, because I don't want to belabor the points. It's very clean, it's very simple. We have the Ace of Cups, right? We have the Two of Cups. I like the entwining energy that's there. I'm gonna kind of pick some of these up so we can so I can see them. I know, again, I totally understand that this is a frustrating way to look at a deck, but it's because of the gilding. So I love the intertwining energy there. Three of Cups, beautiful. You feel like growth is happening. Four of Cups, love this. There is no sense of boredom because I don't read it that way. Five of Cups, we have 3 upright and 2 below that you can turn over, so you can use that imagery from Rider-Waite-Smith. We have the 6 of Cups, the 7 of Cups. These are very pip-oriented. The 8 of Cups, I like the balance that you see in the 8s, which lends it a sense of solidity, things being solid. Love the 9 of Cups. Looks like bells ringing. And the 10 of Cups. These feel very, old style pip in terms of placement. And then we have the page here. We have the Knight, which I do feel like there's some motion in that swirl and that going outward. We have the King and the Queen having sort of crown. This Queen of Cups, because I've glanced at the other ones to see if there was anything that was similar. The Queen of Cups has the least crown looking. All of the rest are very clearly crowns. This one's a little bit, you don't see the crown quite as clearly. The Pentacles here are beautiful. We have the Ace, we have the 2, we have the 3, we have the 4, 5, 6, love that. 7, I like that. You can see the growth, right, with the plants. The 8, the 9, and the 10 of Pentacles. And then we get to the page. The Knight, there's still some motion I feel there. And then the Queen and the King, again, you can really see the crowns in all of them except for that Queen of Cups. Love this Ace of Swords. 2, 3. You can still see that traditional heart there, but, nothing's bleeding, right? 4, 5. These are the most Marseille feeling. This has a very huge Picard feeling with the above and the below. 7, 8. Interesting 9. Gorgeous 10. Page. I like the wings here with the Knight. And then the Queen and the King with their crowns. Wands have so much energy coming off them. I really like that magic energy at the tip of the wand that you see. 2s, 3s, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The higher numbers, you can definitely see kind of the Marseille style. I'm not saying that they're placed exactly Marseille, but you can see that interlacing. Page, Knight, Queen and King with their crowns there. And look at those backs. Really beautiful, really gorgeous. See that up close too. So let me scroll out. So if you're like me and you just love pip decks, and I'm kind of afraid to riffle them, but I'm going to try it and see how they feel. Oops, let's get the rest of the deck. They overhand. They're not sticky. Like that silky matte does not cause stickiness. You're going to get maybe it feels like a little more chunking in the, if you're going to just overhand, but that may break into as they are used. Let's see. Oh, they shuffle fabulous. For this kind of cardstock that feels, you know, nice and thick and luxurious, generally for me that means I'm not going to like how it riffle shuffles. You get like one or the other. You get that thick, glorious, you know, silky matte, thick, beautiful cardstock. That means what the payoff for me is that I can't riffle shuffle them well. This is not the case with these. They riffle shuffle amazing. Like that's a cardstock made for me. No question. No question. All right, let's just see what they look like laid out. Stick them in the middle with the 3 of Cups. And I don't even know entirely what you can see. Well, I'll look back and maybe have to adjust things. We have the King of Cups in the past. We have the Star card in the future. We have 3 of Wands for fire. The Queen of Wands for air. The 10 of Swords for water. And the Ace of Swords for earth. So let me kind of adjust everything now. And then let's see what's going on as above with the Temperance card. And so below with the Sun card. That is pretty gorgeous. And again, I know that some people, you know, are not a big fan of pip decks, and for those who, you know, don't know what a pip deck is or that tend to ask what a pip deck is, it just means that they are not scenic. So we don't have people in them. We can't look at the card and see from the scene and gather what the meaning of the card is from the scene. You do need to have a base understanding of the tarot cards in order to know. But the 3 of Wands is, for me, about growth, right? Growth in the suit of energy, of fire, of transformational energy, and the number 3 is that growth aspect of it. So this is growing energy in the Wands. It's out there moving and growing. So if you know that sort of base understanding of that, you know, you don't need an image to be able to tell you that. And one of the benefits of a pip deck is a deck card such as the 10 of Swords. So the number 10s are about completion, right? We have 1 through 10 in tarot. So we have that sense of completion of the suit, of what suit? The suit of Swords, the suit of air, the suit of mind. So for me personally, the culmination of the suit of the mind is not something dead on the ground. It can be the ending of an old way of thinking, and like a way of thinking that's come full cycle, and we're now going to move into a next thing. But it just means a powerful conclusion, a completion, a sort of making, a solidifying of the mind in its full and powerful sense. sense, bringing the power of the mind in relation to emotions being in this particular position. And so this is really useful if this is how you read. If you read numerologically with the elements, then having somebody who is somebody or something that's dead on the ground isn't really all that helpful in portraying that particular meaning of in that position, and it can really shift. Even though you're going to say what you know that it means, it gets into the person's head, and that can change them not hearing exactly what you're saying about the meaning of the card. So that's why many people like a pip deck. But a pip deck doesn't mean you can just say whatever you want. It actually means you need to really know and understand how you interpret the cards so that you can really work with those. So the Queen of Wands for me is about setting the environment so that that passion and creativity can grow. And it doesn't matter whether there's a woman sitting here or not. It's still the Queen of Wands, right? The Star card means follow, have trust that you're going to be able to navigate your way forward. Have a little bit of faith that you're going to get where it is that you need to go. And that means that whether there's a woman, a beautiful woman in the Star card, or there's just a star on the card. So I think it's a beautiful way, once you get comfortable with the tarot system, to be able to read and really define your way of seeing the cards and being able to tap into them consistently without those meanings warring with whatever artist may have put onto a particular deck of cards. So they're beautiful. I really do firmly believe everybody should have at least one deck that is a pip style deck or a non-scenic deck. Some people will say a non-illustrated, but as you can see, these cards are beautifully illustrated. They simply don't have scenes in them. And I think having one, when I teach tarot, I always ask that the students have a scenic deck like the Rider-Waite-Smith to kind of learn, in a lot of the books follow the Rider-Waite-Smith, and a non-scenic or pip deck to work with, because I think having both of those, especially as you're learning, is a great way forward. So anyways, I'm babbling. I think this is absolutely stunning. My only criticism as a reader who films her readings is that it can be difficult for me, because of the way my lights are set up, to use decks that do have gilded imagery, because it is difficult for me to see the image. I really have to kind of sometimes get in there and look. But it looks to me like it's actually filming very clearly, which means this would be a deck I could use to film a reading. But for my eyesight, personally, it's a little bit hard to see that because of the way that the light hits it, because of my lighting bouncing off the ceiling. So that's just something for me personally. And I don't think in this case, I don't think it would stop me from being able to use this deck, which is a big plus for me. So I hope that you have enjoyed a quick peek at this. Now, I don't know, let me check. On their website, it says that the deck is available for pre-order in a very limited quantity, and the deck is $50, which in my opinion is well worth the quality of this. Now, you do not get a guidebook with that, and it's just the cards and the box, but I don't generally use tarot guidebooks really, so that doesn't make it or break it for me. The quality is amazing. I know I don't know if any other shops are already selling it. Like I said, my friend Patrick and his wife have a little shop. A shop called A Little Mad, and they had gotten some of them and sold them on the website, and it was sold out pretty quickly. So I don't know if there's other shops that also have the decks available for purchase or not, but if you go to the website, which I will try to remember to link below, it looks like there is a pre-order up for them. And again, it comes in black and pink, which everything's the same about it, except for, of course, you have different backs, and you have black paper with the gold gilding on that, which I think would really stand out beautifully. But I do really like this deck. Does for me stand out as being something very different than what I have, just with the pink, the vivid pink backings and the pale pink. It is really beautiful. Okay, I'm going to insert this somewhere. I'm not sure where. But there is actually, if you go to the website, there's a major and a minor arcana, and you can click that and scroll down, and you can see the cards, especially in that black format. But you can click on the cards and maybe, yeah, there we go. You can click on the cards, see it closer, and you can see keywords and a basic meaning. I don't think it's anything outside of just sort of the typical understanding, and it doesn't seem to reference the imagery whatsoever, but it does give you sort of a basic meaning. I think that you could, to be honest, probably get you know, from any basic understanding or book about, let me just pick another random one here. Yeah, for me, I mean, this is sort of a basic understanding of the strength card, which is, well, you know, it's there, it's fine. It doesn't really speak about any of the symbology in any of the illustrations. So it's there. I just wanted to point that out because I think I said that the website didn't have any meanings in them. It does have some meanings on the website. I don't think, so if you don't have anything that gives you basic meanings, this would be a great help. But if you do, I think you're going to be able to use any kind of basic understanding of the cards, you know, yourself without needing to go to the website if you have any kind of book that gives you that, or if you already have your own understanding of the cards themselves. Anyways, I just was taking a look at this myself, and I thought, as usual, if I'm going to take a look at something, I might as well just film it so that other people can take a look at it and see. And maybe, even if it's not this particular one, maybe think about how a deck can be really clean and very minimal and not have a lot on it that is relating to the meaning of the card, and still be a really beautiful way to be able to read tarot. And that it isn't necessary, even though so many decks are stunning. Obviously, the deck I'm really just loving to death is the Litha Tarot, and you know, that has tons of beautiful scenery that are on them. And so we have a ton of decks out there, of course, that have this beautiful landscape of art and imagery that can go on a deck. And I am, you know, all for that. But I think there's a really solid and beautiful place for decks like these that bring that style of pip decks from the traditional cards into modern sensibilities. And I, for one, really appreciate these kinds of decks coming out for me to use, if nothing else, right? So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you're watching this on the spring equinox, happy spring equinox to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful season to come.